Today we have a battle between the AI reverbs. It's the Sonible Smart reverb versus the Izotope Neoverb. We'll get to it right after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer, and I'm the Audio Sorcerer, and this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So with that being said, we are talking about the Sonible Smart Reverb versus the Izotope Neoverb. So before I discuss the challenge, if you guys want to learn more about these reverbs before we do the challenge, if you go in the description below in the video, you can check out tutorials I've done on each of them, okay? So this video is going to be more about actually a challenge and letting you guys do some constructive listening and trying to figure out which one you like better. And of course, I'll give you my opinion at the end of the video, so make sure you guys stick around to the end. So in this challenge, we are going to put the Smart Reverb and the Neoverb on vocals, guitars, and snare drum. And we are going to put them directly on the tracks. We're not going to use buses. And the reason for this is because it's a little bit easier to balance the levels and get a better match. So you guys will have a more accurate comparison. So that's why we're doing it that way. So I have already ran the algorithm per reverb on each track, got the levels all set and mixed the way I want it. And what I did was I gave myself 5 minutes per reverb to go in and fine tune some of the parameters that weren't set by the algorithm. And for this listening experiment, we're going to listen to each track dry first, then we're going to hear it soloed with the Smart Reverb, then we're going to hear it soloed with the Neoverb, then we're going to hear the Smart Reverb in the mix, and then we're going to hear the Neoverb in the mix. So you're going to have several different scenarios where you can hear how this affects the sound. And I recommend you guys go back and kind of listen through each section multiple times to really get a grasp on it here, because if you're going to purchase one of these, you want to know what you're getting before you buy it. And this is what this video is here to help you to decide. So the judging criteria for this competition is going to be 5 categories. So the first one is going to be the overall algorithm. And what I mean by that is what the algorithm actually does, because they're actually both different. So I'm going to pick which one I think is better at the end. The second category is which algorithm gets you closest to a finish point after running it. Third category is going to be which reverb has the most and best additional features. The fourth category is going to be which reverb sounds best on each instrument individually. And there's 3 of them. So one will come out the winner since we have an odd number. And then our 5th category and final category is the price point for each reverb. So that is our challenge. So let's get started with it here. And we are going to start with vocals.
Tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. And I miss you, you're so far away from me right now. I wish I was there holding you. I wish I was there. I wish I was there holding. And I miss you, you're so far away from me right now. I wish I was there holding you. I wish I was there. I wish I was there holding.
Alright, so those are our three instruments in this test scenario, and I hope you guys went back and listened through a few times so that you'll get a good grasp on what the reverb is doing to the particular instruments. So we are going to get to our first category, which is the algorithm, and we'll start with Sonible here. So Sonible's algorithm runs based upon what type of instrument you have going in here. Okay, I really like that because I can say, hey, I got a snare drum, I click snare, then I just hit the record button while I'm playing it, and then it builds a profile based upon the instrument that I am putting into it. And the biggest effect that it has on it is it really affects these here, the decay, spread, and density. It builds this for you. Your basically, would it be ADSR? I always forget my acronym for that. So it creates a sound from start to finish. It does not give you a particular reverb sound here. It leaves it in the center, and then you are expected to move the little XY coordinate ball around to your liking. And these other settings here regarding time, pre-delay, and then obviously your mix between dry and wet, that's all stuff you got to set yourself. So this reverb basically builds a decay, spread, and density profile based upon which type of instrument you're sending in and what it actually sounds like. So that is the algorithm of the Sonible Smart Reverb. So for the Izotope Neoverb here, for reverb assistance, you basically have to select between realistic, dramatic, or anywhere in between, and this goes between what type of reverb is going to be selected. So if you go more towards the blue here, it's going to be more like a room reverb. That's going to be very short reflections, not a long decay time. And then the purple here is more of the plate sound. And then this, I guess, orangish color is more of a hall. So you do have to kind of select what you want initially. Then you pick how big you want it to be. Then also your dry wet mix of it. And then you can choose between clean, dark, bright, and airy. And then you hit next and you play it in. So very similar to how the Smart Reverb works. You have to play in the sound. And then basically what this does here is it's going to select the type of reverb here, depending where you put your little slider at, okay? And then it's also going to build a pre-EQ and a reverb EQ for you based upon, the frequencies it's reading in from the sound. It's going to try to get rid of any resonant frequencies, any mud, stuff like that to just make it sound clearer and better. That is pretty much all this reverb does here for its algorithm. So the winner of the algorithm category and why is actually the Sonible Smart Reverb. And the reason why is because it built its algorithm based upon which type of instrument you're putting into it. You get to choose, which I think creates a more accurate sound for that particular instrument. So in a Neoverb with the Reverb Assistant, we have all these options for ourselves. So we have to choose. So it's not so smart when you do it that way. I mean, it still obviously does it for you, but you still have to pick several different options in here, and then it will build it based upon what you did, not what necessarily is best for the sound. So round one goes to the Sonible Smart Reverb. All right, so the second category was which reverb, after running its algorithm, got me closest to the finished point. And the winner of this round is the Izotope Neoverb. This reverb got me pretty much where I needed to be. I just had to fine tune the blend between my three reverbs here. And of course, mess with the dry wet because we're doing this directly on a track. And I think the only other thing I did was adjust my space size for the plate just to be in tempo with the song. I didn't touch the EQs at all because those were all set by the algorithm. Now, the Smart Reverb over here, I felt like I had to do a lot more work. I also had to work more on the XY axis here than I did on this one over here to find a sound that I liked. And I have these other parameters in here depending on which instrument I work with that I usually have to adjust. So width, color, and clarity are important when it comes to this reverb. Then I have to obviously set the reverb time. And also, if I want to use a pre-delay, I got to set it there. So I just felt like it didn't quite get me there quick enough, at least as in comparison to the Neoverb. So, winner of this round is the Izotope Neoverb. All right, so our third category is which reverb has the most and best additional features beyond what the algorithm does. So, the winner of this category is the Izotope Neoverb. And if you look over here, if you hit this little arrow, you have all these extra parameters in here related to each reverb, and they do come in handy. And what I love is actually the pre-delay here. If you click the little note here, you can sync your pre-delay right up to your tempo, and you can do it within like 1/8, 1/16. It's super easy. And then the smooth option here, this is pretty cool because it actually smooths out the tail of your reverb. And you have a mod section up here too, which I don't really use, but I guess you can use it to create more creative reverbs. So for the Sonible Smart Reverb here, these are the main parameters here that I think are cool beyond what the algorithm does. Your width, so I can basically shrink or widen the reverb, color it, which is going to be an EQ to some extent, and then also clarity, which in my mind acts more as a pre-delay because it basically allows your sound to get through more transparent without the reverb tainting it and maybe making it less intelligible. So not quite as many as the Neoverb, and I don't think they're quite as useful as the Neoverb. So this round is going to the Izotope Neoverb. All right, so the fourth category is which reverb, after running its algorithm and me spending 5 minutes with it per instrument, made that instrument sound the best. So the winner for the vocals, I would say, would be the Izotope Neoverb. And I think it has a lot to do with the EQ here. It definitely was really smooth, really nice on the upper end of the vocals, I thought. And it was almost just pretty. I will say the Smart Verb was thicker, but I don't know. There was just something for me that the Neoverb did that really made the vocals sound more radio ready. That's the way I would put it. So I think vocals definitely go to the Neoverb. For guitars, I'm actually going to give this one to the Smart Reverb. I think using the width control, this isn't the one I had up for it here, but I had it on 100, I was able to make the guitars sound wider and I think stand out a little bit bigger. And in that particular part of the song, it's just pretty much vocals and guitar. It was kind of needed. And it just kind of gave it a really nice warm sound. So I definitely like the Smart Reverb on the guitars. And then lastly, for the snare drum, I think the Neoverb took this by quite a bit. Now, I know the sound that was created by both of these, and partially had to do with me, was quite different. There was more of a beefy snare with the Smart Reverb, and then this really nice bright snare with the Neoverb. But I don't know, just something again with the Neoverb. It was really smooth, and it was just nice. And I think it has a lot to do with that EQ in here, because what it's trying to do is get rid of those resonant frequencies and mud and just random bad frequencies. So I mean, I think that's playing a huge part in it. So I give that to the Neoverb. So overall, that makes it 2-1 in this category, which gives it to the Izotope Neoverb. All right, so our last and final round is which reverb is priced the best. So the winner of this category is the Sonible Smart Reverb. It comes in at $150 US, and the Izotope Neoverb comes in at $199. So Sonible Smart Reverb wins this round. So that is all 5 of our categories. And the final score is Izotope Neoverb 3, Sonible Smart Reverb 2. So the Izotope Neoverb wins this challenge. So really it's subjective. In my opinion, I think it is a better reverb, the Izotope, over the Sonible, but not by very much. So it really comes down to what you guys like and what you guys hear when it comes to a reverb. So I'd be curious what you guys think of this tutorial and what you think is the better reverb, and maybe if you have different opinions of which reverb sounded better per instrument. So definitely leave comments in the section below and let me know that. So that is it for this tutorial. So if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, because I love making this content for you, and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.